When Mrs. Gregory and Captain Bradford were taken into the communication chamber on the 5th level of the Magic Island, they saw something almost unbelievable. From G-47's prism reflectors, they have actually seen the inside of a submarine many miles away, in which Jerry and Joan are being taken to witness the capture of Johnson's boat. The Euclideans have perfected television, as they have everything else, and Mrs. Gregory and the captain were forced to see and hear everything, as the submarine commander turned her ray guns on Joan and Jerry to silence them. The rays were only sleep-producing ones, however, and as we look into the submarine, we find Jerry and Joan just recovering from the effects.
I told you, Jerry, not to talk so much.
Well, anyway, we both got put to sleep with that ray gun, and I'm getting tired of falling over whenever one of these Euclideans feels like watching me take a tumble.
Now, Jerry, please do not make remarks about the Euclideans. The Commander S1 can hear all we say, and so can SE1, the engineer. You are only making it more difficult for us.
You are right, Cleostra. I have found that you two are not entirely trustworthy, however, and must now take further precautions to ensure your remaining quietly in the stern while I continue my observations here.
What's she going to do with us now?
Silence. You, Cleostra, will open the small cabinet on your left. You will sponge the hands and shoes of young Hall and yourself with the liquid from the cabinet.
Hey, wait a minute. Do you know what that stuff is?
Yes, Jerry. It is the magnetic paint, and once we have it on, we cannot move while the commander keeps the magnets active in this section.
Oh, so. My girlfriend, the commander, is just as tough as anybody else from that crazy island.
I warned you, Jerry. Commander S1 is a Euclidean.
Gee, a beautiful girl like that with just a number for a name. What a life.
I wish you would not keep calling her a beautiful girl.
Well, she is. I don't care if she is plenty tough with us. That don't spoil her looks any. She's a swell-looking girl.
She is not a girl. She's terribly old, Jerry.
Huh? How old?
22 years.
Gee, 22. Is she really?
Yes, Jerry. She was given this command on her 21st birthday, nearly 2 years ago.
Gosh, that lets her out then. 22 is pretty old.
I'm so glad to hear you say that, Jerry. 15 is a nice age, is it not?
Yeah, it's all right. Kind of young, though. But by the time I'm 21, you'll be 20. That won't be so bad. Oh, but I guess we'd better quit talking about her. She can hear all we say, and she's liable to crack down on us again.
No, Jerry. S1 has closed the transparent housing around the central control chamber. We're quite free to talk now.
But we can see her just as plain as day.
That is more of the transparent steel, and transparent from either side. S1 can see us as well as we see her.
Then we'd better be careful not to make faces at her. Can she tell us she switched on the microphones in this end of the sub so she can hear what we're talking about?
Yes, Jerry. That large green tube at her right will glow when the microphones are active, and the red tube when the transmitter is working.
Boy, what a setup. And to think your mother and Tex really saw us and heard us way out here on this boat.
They will be very worried about us, Jerry, if they were watching when the commander used the ray gun on us.
Oh, don't worry so much. Your mother and Tex Bradford are a couple of the smartest people I ever saw. And if they saw us get laid out with those ray guns, you can bet they kept right on looking till they saw us wake up again.
I hope you are right, Jerry.
Hey, I'm always right. Pretty near.
Yes, Jerry.
Okay. Now let's quit jabbering about nothing and get down to brass tacks.
Brass tacks?
Oh, I mean, let's get down to business. Talk about what we're going to try to do and how we're going to do it when we get to Johnson's boat.
I think it will be quite useless to plan anything. We will just have to wait until the occasion arises and then take the course which appears most suitable under the conditions existing at the moment.
Boy, I got that one. We wait for the breaks and then jump in, huh?
Jump in the breaks?
Oh, you're getting in my hair. Look, and listen. I mean, we'll do what we think is best when we get a chance to do anything.
I think it would be better to sit quietly and wait for the commander's orders. There is nothing of value that we can do, Jerry.
Oh, don't be too sure about that. For one thing, you ought to know how they handle these subs. So, well, what will the commander do when we get near Johnson's boat?
She will order Johnson to surrender.
Oh, swell. But what then? Suppose Johnson does surrender. How do we get his boat to the island?
If he refuses to run his boat to Euclidia, S1 will sink it with all on board.
Oh, no, she won't. G-47 wants the scientific apparatus and Captain Bradford's materials on board that boat.
You may be right, Jerry. G-47 wants those things badly, and the commander will make every effort to get the boat to Euclidia.
But what if Johnson refuses to give up the boat?
He will not refuse. Remember that you told him to come to the island when the commander made you send the message.
Yeah, but I stuck a few words in that message so Johnson will know things aren't so good with us. And for the homing pigeon is on his way to Johnson's boat. Johnson will have a lot of tricks figured out before we get to him.
Any trick Johnson might try would only endanger our lives, Jerry. I am sure the commander will find a way to compel Johnson to bring the boat to the island. Through you.
Me? Well, how can she do that?
There are many ways. We shall see.
Well, if I get a chance to talk to Johnson before we get too close to the island, I'll bet he'll figure some way to give old G47 a headache.
Enough of such nonsense.
Gee, she heard us.
The green tube is lighted. We were careless, Jerry.
That is natural with worldly fools. You, Cleostra, should know that only Euclideans are perfect.
Okay, we'll keep quiet, Commander.
I wish you to come forward to the control section. You also, Cleostra.
What do you suppose she wants now?
We must go quickly and find out.
All right. Take this transparent steel wall out of the way. I'm not so good at walking through steel walls.
You are not good at anything. Particularly are your powers of observation not good. The wall has been removed.
So it has, Jerry.
Well, golly whiskers. How could I tell?
You could not, though an intelligent person would.
Oh, thanks for the violets. Come on, Joan.
Be very careful, Jerry, and do nothing to make S1 angry.
Oh, never mind. I know what I'm doing.
You may sit there, Cleostra. Touch nothing and say nothing. You, Hall, will sit here.
Right here?
Yes, there.
Well, here I am. What do I do now?
Look at this chart. Our position is here. The position of Johnson's boat is there. Check those at once and assure me you agree with the position of Johnson as given in the last message we received from him.
Right. I'll check it.
Do not try to do anything except what you are told, Jerry.
I got it. It's just where Johnson gave his last position.
Good. We will now contact Johnson again and get his present position. If my indicators are correct as to the speed with which he is approaching us, he should be at latitude 27 degrees, 29 to 30 minutes south.
Gee, how can you tell that?
You will notice the needle swaying in this indicator.
Yeah?
This is recording the increase in volume of the exhaust of Johnson's motors as his boat nears us. His exact speed is the square root of the dial reading on that indicator, the result being in degrees per hour.
Jumping catnip. This is sure slick. What do I do now?
You will take over this microphone as before. On the red tube glow, raise Johnson and speak to him as if you were on the yacht at the island. Check his exact position.
Well, do I go now?
You may speak when this red tube glows. Remember your instructions. Reassure Johnson that all is well with your party, but that you need his boat to leave the island with, and ask for his exact position. Ready? Silence, Cleostra.
I understand.
J24Y to J12C. Jerry Hall on J24Y to Johnson on J12C. Hello, J12. Hello, J12C. J12C. Hello, J12. Jerry Hall on J24Y.
J12C
for
to
Bradford
J24Y. Hello, Jerry. Johnson on J12C to Jerry Hall on J24Y. Go ahead, J24Y.
Please check your exact speed and position and give me at once. We must be prepared for your exact time of arrival at island. How soon can I have exact position? Your boat. Go ahead, J12C.
Am exactly 27 degrees, 30 minutes south, making 35 knots on course due south to island. Check island position back to me. Go ahead, J24Y.
Okay, J12C. Your position, 27 degrees, 30 minutes south. You are making 35 knots. Island position, 29 degrees south. Does that check?
Repeat of my position, okay. Position of island, okay. But cannot understand reception of your beam with faint in it. Where are you getting power for generator if yacht is crippled? Last message from you said yacht total wreck. Can you explain that, Hall?
Can't explain now. Keep coming. We'll report to Bradford your position and speed. That is all, J12C. That is all.
Hold it, Hall. Your last message said the bosun was ill. Reassure him all is well. Get that, Hall. All is...
Hey, what did you turn that generator off for? I wanted to hear what Johnson had to say about the bosun.
I realize that, but it will do you no good to hear more about it. Nor will it aid Johnson.
Oh, is that so? Well, there's a couple of things you don't know.
Silence. I am completing my calibration of Johnson's speed and position with relation to ours. He is making 35 knots, we 25. His position is 27:30, ours 28:15. We will be directly under Johnson's boat in exactly 45 minutes. You will be free to observe the meeting and the Euclidean method of handling such trifling details.
Oh, you may not find it so trifling if Johnson's all set for you.
Please be careful, Jerry. Say nothing.
I won't have to say anything. Johnson will do all that.
If you think you are going to surprise me because that homing pigeon you call the bosun will arrive at Johnson's boat before we do, you underestimate my intelligence.
Jerry, she knew about the pigeon.
Naturally. And what can Johnson do with the message he will take from the pigeon?
Why, gee, I guess he can't do anything with it.
Precisely. So you see, my young fool, in 45 minutes we will have Johnson, boat, pigeon, formula, and all.
Throughout the long hours just before dawn, Mrs. Gregory and Captain Bradford have waited in the Euclidean control chamber with G-47, waited for news of the submarine, which is plowing northward in 50 feet of water, to meet and capture the rescue boat with Johnson aboard. Jerry and Joan have been forced to go with the submarine, and Jerry has been compelled to send radio messages from the submarine to Johnson, as if he were sending them from the Magic Island, asking Johnson to hurry to the island. As we look into the communication chamber on the 50-foot level of the island, we find G-47 looking intently into the prism reflectors. Mrs. Gregory and Captain Bradford watch him.
Don't forget you were fooled once before when you were allowed to look into this reflector.
That's true, Pat, but this time I think our friend here is too busy to bother with playing any tricks on me, eh, G-47?
Precisely. The image before you is Johnson's boat.
Then if your calculations are correct, and if those messages we heard between the submarine and Johnson's boat were genuine, the submarine should be under the other boat in a few minutes now.
Right. If Johnson's hitting a steady 35, as he says, and the sub maintains its 25, they should meet in 5 or 6 minutes.
What will happen then? What instructions have you given that woman commander regarding her treatment of Johnson?
She will bring the boat here, if Johnson is sensible. Otherwise...
Otherwise what?
It will be sunk with all on board.
Oh, Tex, I'd rather lose everything on board than have that happen. G-47, won't you let us send a message to Johnson telling him to surrender peaceably?
I want everything on board that boat, but I will destroy it if necessary. There are other materials, and your formula, which Johnson has taken from the leg of that pigeon.
Oh, you knew the pigeon had reached Johnson's boat?
Precisely.
Jerry had to give it away in his last message to Johnson. Can't be helped.
I can always compel you to give me the formula, Captain.
That won't be so easy to do.
We value that formula more than our lives, G-47. We will never give it up.
So, you see, if you sink Johnson's boat with the formula materials on board, your chances are mighty small.
That can wait. Now, if you will look into the reflector carefully, you will see the end of another of your hopes.
What does he mean, Tex?
I don't know. Let me get a good look at that thing. I wonder. Yes. You win that one all right, G-47.
What are you talking about, Tex?
Well, I had an idea Johnson might be able to slip a message to one of those battleships maneuvering around here. That's blown up now. Look, Pat, you can see the ships going away, and they're too far off Johnson's course for him to reach them.
Yes, especially after Johnson's receiving Jerry's message to come straight to this island. It may have fooled him.
Not a chance. But Johnson will figure that for all our sakes, the safe thing to do is to obey the message. He'll have something figured out to help us when he arrives.
But don't you think Johnson might have been able to get a message to those boats without being heard here?
No message could leave there without being heard here.
No, I suppose you're right. Well, I guess all we can do is stand here and watch this. How far are they from the island?
They will meet just north of 28 degrees, about 75 miles from here.
And will this reflector show the meeting? I mean, will we be able to see the details of both ships?
Perfectly. When the time comes, I will increase the power and sharpen the focus. You will have splendid opportunity to witness the surrender.
I'm not going to stay here and see it. I'm going back to the yacht.
You stay here, Pat. We can't do any good on the yacht. We might as well see it, no matter what happens. It'll be better than sitting on the yacht, down in that dark lock and wondering what's happening to those two kids.
J24Y to J12C. Jerry Hall to Johnson.
Jerry again, sending a message from that submarine.
Silence.
J24Y to J12C. Hello, J12C. Hello, J12.
J12C to J24Y. Go ahead, J24. Go ahead, Jerry.
Have important instructions for you, J12. Copy and repeat.
Right, Hall. Standing by to copy and repeat. Let's have it.
Tex, something's happened on the submarine.
Let's go on deck.
Hey, what's the matter? Can't I go on sending to Johnson?
No, I must replace this tube. You sit over there with Cleostra. Make no move, or I shall resort to the magnetic paralysis.
Don't worry, I won't move. Get over so I can sit down, Joan.
Yes, Jerry. And do be quiet. We are nearly to Mr. Johnson's boat now. We must do nothing to endanger his life.
How about our own lives?
Oh, we are quite safe so long as we follow the commander's orders. But we must do nothing to cause Johnson to make a foolish move. It would mean something terrible for him.
You are wise, my little Cleostra.
I wish you'd call her Joan. I don't like that, Cleostra.
Jerry, please, you will do harm.
Now the tube is replaced. You may return to your seat in the control section. Touch nothing, not even this microphone. These tubes heat in a matter of seconds. When the tube glows evenly, send a message. Use care, great care. A mistake would be costly. Now.
I got it. J24Y, J12C. Hello, Johnson. Hello, J12C.
Go ahead, J24Y. Ready to take your message. Go ahead.
Get this exactly. I am in a submarine running north on your course. Should meet you at latitude 27 degrees, 56 minutes south. Meet in about 5 minutes, making 25 knots in 8 fathoms water. Meet you at 27 degrees, 56 minutes south, and 124 degrees, 30 minutes west in 5 minutes. Repeat, J12.
Right, Hall. You sound like you mean business. Here it is. You are coming north on my course, making 25 knots in 8 fathoms, meeting my boat at longitude 124.30 west, latitude 27.56 south in 5 minutes. Right?
Right. Now here's your orders. When you make the position, lay to, we will board you and direct your run to island. You will be about 75 miles from island. You will have to make it straight and fast for all our sakes. Lay to at 27 degrees, 56 minutes. We will board you there. Confirm.
Lay to at 27.56. What's it all about, Jerry?
Sorry, no information. You will learn a lot when we board you. Be seeing you in about 4.5 minutes. That's all. Well, how'd I do?
You are learning. The message approached intelligence. But there was one thing about Johnson's message that does not satisfy me.
I guess my message didn't satisfy him any too well either from the way he sounded.
I am interested only in technical satisfaction.
What was wrong with the reception?
There was a terrific variation between this wave band and the one used in the previous exchange of messages. Can you account for that?
No, but what of it? He got the message, and that's the main thing, ain't it?
Jerry, do not say ain't.
Okay, Joan. That all, Skipper?
Be more circumspect in your address, Hall. My title is that of Commander.
Oh, I'm sorry, Commander.
That is better. Now you may return to the rear of this section. We cease progress here. SE-1.
Yes, Commander.
Cut all power. Prepare the elevators. Correct your depth gauges. We lay to immediately.
We'll do so at once, Commander.
What's going on now?
I'm not sure, Jerry. This ship has never been on the surface, and yet we are going to board Johnson's boat. I thought no Euclidean submarine ever went to the surface.
You will see this one do it, but in a manner you may not expect. You will take that metal seat with the armrests over there, Hall.
This one?
Yes. Get into it at once.
I'm in it. What now?
You, Cleopatra, take the one to your left.
Yes, Commander. I am ready.
You will remain in that position, both of you. One movement, and I will magnetize you to the seat.
I'll hold everything.
I will not move.
That is well.
All powers cut. Progress slackening rapidly. We'll be stationary in 100 yards.
Good. And your depth reading?
Gauge shows the axis at exactly 8 fathoms.
Correct. 8 fathoms is the reading here. You will take the ship to an axis depth of 7 fathoms, even keel.
Right. 7 fathoms, even keel. Going up.
Boy, see how nice this boat slants up through the water.
But nothing ever makes a sound.
Yeah, too quiet for me.
It is done to make communication perfect within the boat.
Access reading 7 fathoms exactly. Boat stationary. Elevators ready. Orders, Commander.
Hold position. I will join you in the forward control section. You two remain exactly as you are.
Aye, aye, Skipper. Yes, Commander.
We will obey orders.
It is well. Now I will take over from you, SE1.
What's going on, Joan?
We are standing by to board Johnson's boat. It should be directly overhead any moment.
Well, I know all that, but we can't board it from here. Johnson's boat's no submarine. This one will have to go to the surface.
Silence in the central section. Ready, SE1.
Ready.
Elevate slowly by forward tube. Watch for surface craft.
Elevating.
Hey, Joan, this boat's going to the surface, all right?
I think not, Jerry.
Sure it is. Look at the nose go up.
Yes, but look at the stern go down.
Huh? Say, you're right. This middle section is standing still. This crazy boat is going to stand on end.
I think that is right. Look, Jerry, these seats are mounted in universal brackets. Our position remains upright, while the submarine is tilting rapidly.
I'll say it's tilting rapidly. Look at the commander and the engineer way up there in the air. This is the nuttiest boat ride I ever took.
Paul and Cleopatra, come to the forward section at once.
You told us to stay here.
Silence, fool. I have changed my mind.
She's a woman, all right, even if she is skipper of the
We
submarine.
must hurry, Jerry, or she will be very angry.
How are we going to get up there? This thing's pretty near straight up and down by now.
Are you blind as well as stupid? The handrail on the catwalk is now perpendicular. The supporting ribs form a ladder at this position. Hurry up that ladder.
Okay. Here we go, Joan. I'll go ahead.
Yes, Jerry, and please hurry.
Climbing a ladder in an upside-down submarine. Boy, this would give the folks back home a laugh.
Well, hurry, Jerry. You climb so slowly.
You will take that swinging platform, Hall. You that one, Cleopatra.
I will if I'm able to take anything. How you doing, Joan?
I will take my place in a moment.
Gee whiz, look down, Joan. The stern of this thing is right under us, 80 feet or more, straight down.
Yes, and look through the transparent steel in the nose of the boat.
Huh? Oh, boy, the nose is out of water.
Silence. You will make ready to open the forward port, SE1.
Make ready to open the forward port.
Joan, look, that shadow. It's moving. It's Johnson's boat.
Yes, Jerry.
Open the port. Prepare to board that boat.
Open the port. Prepare to board. Stand clear.
Jerry and Joan thought they had troubles enough when they were forced to go with the Euclidean submarine to capture Johnson's boat and bring it to the Magic Island. However, even the Euclidean submarines do not act like other submarines, and we find this strange boat standing still at the spot where they are to meet Johnson's boat, standing on end, straight up and down in the water, 100 feet of cigar-shaped boat with its nose out of the water. Jerry and Joan are huddled in the tiny forward control section with the woman commander and the Euclidean engineer as Johnson's boat bears down on them.
Golly whiskers, Joan. Here comes Johnson's boat, all right.
Yes, Jerry. The position of the meeting was calculated quite accurately.
There must be some irregularity in the speed of that boat. It will arrive at this point nearly a minute behind the planned schedule.
That's too bad, isn't it?
Oh, please, say no more, Jerry. The commander is angry.
Okay, Joan. Boy, look at that boat come.
What do the indicators make his speed, SE1?
Exactly 35 knots per hour. Decimal 583 knots per minute.
Excellent. His distance?
1,000 yards.
1,000 yards, approximately half a knot. He should lay to here within the next 65 seconds.
That verifies my reading exactly.
Very well. You may go below. Stand by to stabilize as we board. I want this microphone directly connected to the amplifying speaker.
Very good. We'll stand by to stabilize.
Are you ready, SE1?
Ready. Stabilizer is gyrating. Amplifier is ready.
To the Johnson cruiser, cut your engines. Stand by. Submarine off your starboard prow. Lay to. We will board you.
Hey, he's not going to stop.
No, the boat is passing us.
Johnson's boat, lay to. Stop those engines.
I didn't see a soul on board but the man at the wheel.
This will mean terrible trouble, Jerry.
SE-1, look sharp.
Ready, Commander.
Boat ran past without slackening speed. Throw controls this microphone into radio. Start generators.
Guess there's going to be trouble, all right.
I cannot understand your Mr. Johnson, Jerry. If he knew the danger threatened him...
He is about to learn. There is a possibility his mediocre instruments missed the calculation. That might save his life. Silence. To J-12C, Commander S-1 aboard Euclidean submarine. To J-12C, will give you 30 seconds to lay to and come about. S-1 to J-12C, lay to and come about. Acknowledge that, J-12C.
Gee, he doesn't answer. I'll bet he's going to run for it.
But that would do him no good, Jerry. He will only be caught.
SE-1, prepare to submerge.
Prepare to submerge.
Hall and Cleostra, remain in this compartment. SE-1, close the port.
Close port.
Submerge, course due south, full speed ahead, 2 fathoms.
Submerge 2 fathoms. Full speed ahead. Due south.
I will now return to the central control section with the engineer. You two remain here. All you say will be heard plainly.
We will do nothing, Commander.
Yeah, not much of that.
It is well. When the time comes for action, one movement on your part and you will not see the capture.
Boy, I'm afraid we're going to have to watch Johnson get some rough treatment now.
There are many terrible things the commander might do to Johnson's boat.
That boat's got a couple of minutes head start, and he can make 55 knots if he has to. This tub can't do that.
But this boat will not have to catch Johnson's boat. We will merely have to get directly astern of him, the axis of this boat directly on his true course. And then those awful submarine rays will be sent from the nose of this ship.
Hey, when those rays start to happen, let's get away from here. We're right in the nose of this thing.
Oh, but not now, Jerry. This was the nose coming out. It will be the stern on the return trip.
Oh, that helps a little. Whoa there. Boy, this boat is slipping down awful fast. Whoa, boy. That's just like riding on a roller coaster.
We will soon be on an even keel, Jerry. This boat can submerge and right itself in 1 minute.
It's all too fast for me. Now we're straightening out all right. And we're so near the surface you can see the daylight coming down through the water.
Silence in the stern section. SE-1,
Yes, Commander.
prepare the bow submarine ray, directional magnet.
Bow submarine ray, directional magnet.
Oh, Jerry, the commander is going to use the submarine ray on Johnson's boat.
Not if I know anything about it, she won't.
Well, but what can you do, Jerry?
I can do plenty. Oh, hey, that magnetism thing got me. I can't move my hands and feet.
It is affecting me also, Jerry. Oh, it makes my arms ache.
Gosh, she's sure pouring it to us. Feels like one of those machines you take hold of and then can't let go.
Now that you are convinced of my ability to hold you out of my way, are you going to make it necessary to apply the magnetic paint to your tongue?
Gosh, she wouldn't really do that, would she?
Yes, Jerry. The paint applied to the tongue would make it impossible for us to talk.
I'd rather quit talking because I thought of it myself. Okay, Commander, I'm shut.
It is well. Ready, SE-1.
Magnetic directional rangefinders directly on stern of escaping yacht.
Range.
5,500 yards.
Drift.
Negligible.
Excellent. Prepare charge.
Strength of charge.
Maximum. That boat would be worthless unless taken intact. To cripple it might damage valuable instruments aboard. It must be totally destroyed.
Right. Maximum charge.
Gee, Joan, she's going to destroy that boat.
Oh, it is terrible, Jerry.
Silence. Are you ready, SE-1?
Ready.
Wait for the 2,000-yard range. You will fire as your graph shows the other boat is 5,985 yards. The ray will absorb loss from moisture to compensate for the 15 yards.
Ready. 5,900 yards. 5,910. 5,920.
When he gets to 5985, he'll shoot.
Oh, quiet, Jerry. We can do
5940.
nothing.
5,950. 5,960. 5,970.
You will hold your fire until orders from me.
Stop SE1.
Right.
Orders from G47. Do not fire at this time. Continue course following boat. Full speed ahead.
Full speed ahead.
Oh, boy, Joan. That's good luck. I feel better.
It is wonderful, Jerry. In another minute, Johnson's boat would have been destroyed.
Well, I'm glad you decided to do that, G47. It wouldn't have helped any of us to sink that boat.
Oh, Tex, I'm so nervous. It was only a matter of seconds until that submarine ray would have been cutting through the water and Johnson's boat gone.
I have certain ideas I want to experiment with.
Well, I don't care what you do. Now that Johnson is safe.
He is 60 miles from this island. There is ample time in which to destroy the boat if you do not accede to my wishes.
Yes, G47, anything you want.
Right, Pat. We'll save Johnson and that boat no matter what we have to do.
Very well. You, Captain, will take your position before the transmission panel. Speak to Johnson. Ask him why he did not lay to for the submarine. Upon your questions and his answers depend the lives of all on board that yacht.
Go ahead, Tex, and don't antagonize G47.
I'll do my best. You want me to use the yacht call?
No, it is no longer necessary. Johnson has realized by this time that your yacht is powerless. Use my signature.
Johnson's going to have a nightmare over this. Well, here goes. J12C. Bradford to Johnson on J12C. Hello, J12. Hello.
I wonder if he'll be listening, Tex. He may not be near the set now.
He'll be doing nothing but listening. He'll be looking to us for an explanation as to why Jerry invited him to run into a submarine boarding party. J12C, hello.
You will continue indefinitely, Captain Bradford.
Right. J12C. Bradford from the Euclidean control room to Johnson on J12C. We have observed you closely for the last half hour. Had reports from sub. You must be running a direct course to this island. Position of island as given you before. Why did you refuse to speak submarine? Hello, Johnson. Hello. Must have answer to this message.
Commander S1 to Captain Bradford. Have message for you. Must have G47 okay before give it to you.
You may give Captain Bradford any message.
Very good, G47. To Captain Bradford. Johnson's boat is well within range my sensitive frequency graphs in this submarine. Your wave very strong along Johnson's course, but reaching us unbroken. Apparently not being broken by Johnson's receiver. No evidence of any attempt to transmit from Johnson's boat. That is all.
Thanks, S1. May I inquire how Jerry Hall and Cleostra are?
Troublesome but safe, holding them in stern with magnetic safety belt. Commander S1 to Bradford.
Say, G47, that message sounds kind of funny to me. What did she mean by saying my radio beam had not been broken at Johnson's boat?
That is obvious, I think.
You mean that she's got instruments on board that sub which will show if some receiver has cut a piece out of a beam she's receiving?
Naturally.
Well, it may be naturally to you, but it's black magic to me. I didn't know a radio wave lost such an amount of intensity by individual reception that it could be detected on another receiver.
I'm afraid we know very little about Euclidia, Tex.
Yes, I'm sure of it. But that little one last beats me. Like the farmer who wouldn't put up 2 windmills because there wasn't wind enough for both of them.
He might have utilized your idle talk for the other one.
Sorry, G47, but what can I do of any value now?
Continue trying to raise Johnson. I will give you 300 seconds in which to speak him. Then I will order the destruction of his boat.
Oh, Tex, 5 minutes. What can you do?
Just keep trying. One thing's sure. If Johnson has his receiver open, he'll hear all our conversation in this room. That ought to convince him of the necessity of answering me at once.
Keep trying, Tex. We've got to warn Johnson.
Right, dear. I'll do my best. J12C, Johnson. Hello, J12. Bradford on Euclidia to J12C. Danger of your immediate destruction if you do not answer. What's the matter, Johnson? Hello, J12C. Hello, Johnson. Bradford to J12C. Emergency. Answer at once.
S1 to Euclidia. Stand by for relay from Johnson. I am getting him on 19 meters. We'll relay while you We're changing frequency. Stand by for relay from Joan.
The magic island of Euclidia in the South Pacific Ocean is a strange place, and strange things are going on near the island. When Jerry and Joan went out in the Euclidean submarine to capture Johnson's rescue boat, they expected thrills and danger, but were certainly not prepared for what has actually happened to them. The submarine came to the surface by standing on end in the water, and Johnson's boat came along right on schedule. But from there, the thing went all wrong. First, Johnson's boat did not stop, but went tearing along toward the location of the island. And next, Captain Bradford in the Euclidean radio room cannot get a message from Johnson. We look into the submarine as it races along after Johnson's boat.
Gee whiz, Joan, but my arm hurts from that magnetism holding him in one position so long.
My arms hurt also, Jerry, but we must not complain. Things could be so much worse.
I'll say they could. Johnson's boat could have been sunk back there. Then we'd have had something real to worry about.
Yes, and we know Mother and the captain are all right, for we heard their voices in the control chamber. And the captain's message to Johnson showed that...
Funny thing about that, though, why didn't Johnson answer?
I think his radio must have... Oh, Jerry, look, my arms.
Huh? Oh, boy, we can move again.
You may move enough to come up forward to the control section at once, both of you.
Better let me hang on to your arm, Joan. It's sort of hard to walk on this narrow steel thing after sitting there so stiff all this time.
I like to have you hold my arm, Jerry.
Gee, do you?
Yes, then I can help you if you start to fall down.
Oh, what are you talking about?
You will sit over there, Cleopatra, and you here, Hall.
We will attempt to reach Johnson with a message.
Well, to tell you the truth, Commander, I can't figure what Johnson's up to when he refused to answer that message of the captain.
It is a very peculiar situation. Perhaps Johnson was afraid of a trap when Captain Bradford said he was speaking from the Euclidean voice transmission chamber. But did not Johnson start to send a message and then stop?
Yeah, we heard his call letters, heard them repeated. Then the set went dead. Maybe it was your set here, Commander.
It could not be the transmission apparatus here. Mistakes are never made by Euclideans. This equipment is perfect.
Maybe Johnson figured he'd better, lay low until he was sure what he was getting into.
Naturally, Jerry, you have only stated the obvious. Cleopatra is correct. Your answer betrays no particular intelligence on your part. And if that is all you have to offer, we will proceed.
Proceed with what?
Our attempts to contact Johnson and warn him.
Warn him of what? He's heading right for the island, and that's where you want him to get, isn't it?
Precisely, but the island is submerged. He might miss it.
Golly whiskers, that's right.
And if the island should be rising out of the water just as Mr. Johnson's boat passed over it, his boat would be wrecked on the top of the island. Precisely.
I wish you wouldn't say that precisely thing all the time. It sounds like G-47.
Is there anything about G-47 you find objectionable?
Oh, no. He's swell. Yeah, I like him fine. Only he kind of scares me with those surprises he's always springing. It's like finding a snowbank in the desert.
Oh, Jerry, please be careful. Remember that the commander may do as she pleases.
Okay, Joan. All right, Commander. Well, what do you want me to do?
Call Johnson. Advise him of the true state of affairs here and on the island. Ask him why he ran by us, and warn him to lay to before he reaches the position of the island.
Then what?
The generators will be kept active until this is settled. The apparatus is ready. There is a switch. You may operate it. Remember, close it before addressing any communication to me. Proceed. Careful, Jerry.
I know. J-12C. Calling J-12C. Jerry Hall on Euclidean submarine to J-12C. Hello, J-12. Hello, J-12. Jerry Hall for Captain Bradford. Calling Johnson on J-12C. Hello, J-12. Hello, J-12. Oh, well, that doesn't do much good, does it?
You will wait a few seconds for possible reply, then repeat.
Look, can I ask you a question, Commander?
You may ask a question. I have told you about your speech, Jerry. You must learn.
Oh, well, golly whiskers. Can or may or whatever you want. What I want to know is if it's all right for me to ask you a question.
It is, if the question is proper.
Oh, it's a slick question.
Jerry, the commander will not understand slick.
Okay. It's a clever and vital inquiry as to the nature of a certain phenomena existing in the present situation. How am I doing, babe?
The major portion of your outburst was acceptable. To what do you refer?
Well, Magic Island, Euclidia. It's a secret from the rest of the world, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Then how about all this stuff I'm putting out into the air over this radio now? calling Johnson and signing this boat and telling him all about the island. Well, and all that.
These waves do not reach beyond the island and are strictly directional.
You mean those waves go out only in a straight line to the island and then stop there?
Precisely.
But don't the signals get weak at the end of that distance?
No, Jerry. When one of your motor cars runs just so far on one charge of gasoline, does it run slower because the gasoline is nearly gone?
Well, of course not. It just runs till the gas is gone, then stops suddenly, all at once.
So it is with the Euclidean voice transmission beam.
An excellent explanation, Cleostra. You have done well for so young a Euclidean student. Your question is answered now in terms which your limited mentality may grasp, I trust.
Yeah, just skip me. Act like I'm not here.
But you are here, Jerry.
Oh, thanks for noticing it. I was kind of doubtful there for a minute.
Enough of this. Send another message to Johnson, Hall.
Okay. What'll I tell him?
Get him first. Silence, Cleostra. Transmit, Hall.
J12C. Calling J12C. Jerry Hall at J12C. Hello, Johnson. Hello, J12C. Jerry Hall at Johnson. J12C. Calling J12C. Calling J12C. Hello, Johnson. Hello, J12C. Oh, it's no use.
It would seem to be hopeless. I will take over the communication. Silence, both of you. S1 to G47. Commander S1 to G47. S1 reporting.
Ready, G47. Report, S1.
Unable to raise Johnson boat. Your answer checks the proper operation of my beams. We are running a true southerly course to the island. Johnson's boat on surface 8 knots in advance this boat. Cannot raise signal from him. Advise proceed.
What is Johnson's speed?
Stand by. SE1.
Yes, Commander.
Check speed of boat on surface 8 knots advance of this position.
Speed reading is discharge vibrations constant at 35 knots.
Excellent. That is all.
Very good, Commander.
S1 to G47. Speed of surface boat constant at 35 knots.
Correct, Commander. You will proceed on your course
J12C to
exactly.
Captain Bradford on Euclidia. J12C to Bradford.
Proceed, J12C.
We'll talk only to Bradford.
Very well. Captain Bradford will take over.
Hello, J12C. Go ahead, Johnson. Bradford to J12. Go ahead, J12C.
My relief operator has logged a lot of messages here that sound mad. Stories about the island of Euclidia and a transmission room on the island from which your messages have been coming. What's it all about?
Everything just as messages said. Jerry and Joan aboard sub which tried to board you. Why didn't you stop for it?
Did not see it. We were all down in the hold trying to stop leak in the oil tanks. Leaking badly. Think we'll run out of fuel before we reach position of island. Making 35 knots now. 55 miles from island. Fuel supply will not last more than 25 miles at present rate of loss. Also danger from fire. Have you any instructions?
Take all possible precautions against fire. Run as far as fuel will allow. Then lay to and wait for aid. Advise exact position when you stop. Acknowledge.
Run till fuel exhausted, then lay to for aid. Advise exact position then. Is that all?
How about it, G47?
That is all.
Okay, Johnson, that is all.
Commander S1.
Yes, G47.
Proceed at your present speed. Orders later. That is all.
Present speed. Orders later. That is all.
Boy, are we going places and hearing things.
It is all very wonderful, is it not, Jerry?
I think you are learning a great many things of the efficiency and accuracy of the Euclideans. Are you not, Hall?
Oh, sure. You got a lot of swell scientific wrinkles, all right. But nobody on Euclidean knows anything about being a human being or having any fun.
You mean pleasure, relaxation? Is that what you call fun?
Sure. Have a good time. All this scientific work all the time's no good. Not good for you either.
We have ample recreation on Euclidia.
I have told Jerry about our general rest periods, when we may do foolish mathematical and electrochemical problems to suit our pleasure.
Yeah, I heard all about that idea of a good time, but I don't want any of it.
What is your idea of relaxation?
Let me ask you one first. Were you born on Euclidia?
I was. I was the first child born on the island, and I am the chosen commander of the submarine commanders.
Isn't that wonderful, Jerry, to command this boat?
Swell. But what do you know about parties, dances, going to picture shows, skating, ball games, and, well, what do you know about any of that?
It all sounds very useless. We will not tolerate those things after Euclidia takes over the world.
But there is one thing very nice that I have seen, Commander.
What is that?
My mother's clothes. Oh, they're lovely.
Are they of Euclidean cloth?
You bet they're not.
Then they will not keep out light and sound rays. Anyone can see what you are doing and hear all you say.
Yeah, but in our world, people don't go around snooping into other people's business.
You mean you say and do as you please? There is no one to tell you how to spend your time? And your clothes are better than ours?
Oh, yes, Commander. Much nicer. I am sure my mother would let you look at some of her clothes if you would visit the yacht when we get back to the island.
I will. Silence. Such talk is stupid. You two remain here. I have business with the engineer in the bow.
Hey, Joan, I got an idea.
Yes, Jerry?
That commander, I've got her wondering about this Euclidia thing.
I do not understand, Jerry.
Well, Captain Bradford said that he thought we'd find a lot of these Euclideans were just prisoners and would be on our side if they saw a real chance to get to our world and be free from all this.
But, Jerry, the commander is a person of power and position on Euclidia. When Euclidia takes over the world, she will command all the fleets of the world.
Maybe. But she's a girl, a 22-year-old girl. And when you started to talk about your mother's dress being so fine and all, she pretty near forgot to act like a machine.
I'm afraid you are mistaken, Jerry. You will be disappointed if you look to the commander for any help.
Look, Joan, the only reason we can't plan to get away from all this is because the Euclideans know everything we say and do. That's right?
Yes, Jerry, and they always will.
No, they won't. When that commander left here just now, she switched off these microphones and amplifiers in this boat. And she did that so we could have a chance to talk. Get it, Joan? We can talk. Nobody can hear us. And the commander fixed it that way on purpose.
The Euclidean submarine bearing Jerry and Joan is plowing steadily southward toward Euclidia, the magic island of the South Seas. The submarine set out to capture Johnson's boat, but Johnson ran past them and is continuing on toward the island. His last radio message telling of an accident to his boat, oil tanks leaking, may not have enough fuel to make port. With all this in mind, the submarine is following Johnson closely, so they may pick him up and tow him to port. Mrs. Gregory and Captain Tex Bradford have watched and heard all this from the control room in the submerged island, but they can see and hear nothing of the submarine now, as the commander has shut off the power, and Jerry is telling Joan he thinks they've found a friend.
I am afraid you are mistaken, Jerry. These Euclideans are too happy with their power and with their dream of conquering the world.
But I tell you, I know what I'm talking about. Now listen, Joan, when that woman commander left us here in the central control section and went up forward there to talk to that engineer, she cut off all the gadgets that pick up our voices and carry them all over the sub, didn't she?
Yes, Jerry, but that was only done to conserve the power. If this submarine will have to tow a crippled boat to the island, all the power will be needed to operate the towing magnet.
That's all okay, and it gave her a swell excuse. But I'm telling you, she wanted us to have a chance to plan something about what we're to do when we get to Johnson's boat.
Even if that were true, Jerry, there is nothing we could do of any value. We will tow Mr. Johnson to Euclidia. His boat will be captured with all on board, and Captain Bradford's formula will fall into G47's hands.
Oh, gee, I forgot the formula for a minute. I guess there's nothing we could do about that, is there?
You said Mr. Johnson had some of those clever little homing pigeons on his boat. Could he not send a message by one of them? Send the formula on to someone else?
No chance. The pigeons on this boat are trained to go to your mother's boat, and they'd only end up on the island again with the formula. Johnson might just as well take the formula in himself and hand it over to G47.
Let me warn you of one thing, Jerry. Do not try to do more than you have permission to do. You will find the commander and the engineer very swift in their punishment.
Gosh, that engineer is big enough and ugly enough to get a job scaring babies anytime. But I got an idea. The skipper's going to give us a break.
I am afraid, Jerry, that idea will get you into serious trouble.
I'll take a chance on it when the time comes. But right now, I won't act like I noticed anything funny about the way she acted.
Be quiet now. She is returning.
She looks like she means business, too.
I think you were wrong, Jerry.
I see that you at least had intelligence enough to obey instructions and remain as you were. I have given the engineer orders to prepare the stern electromagnet for towing Johnson's boat when his fuel is exhausted.
May I ask you something, Commander?
You may, if the question is within reason.
You use explosive gas for power on this sub, don't you?
Correct. Those lockers are full of cubes of the solidified gas. which, when placed in the discharge tubes and vaporized, explode continuously with tremendous and noiseless power.
Thanks. That's swell. But what bothers me is how you get power to run that big generator, and whether the power is going to come from to run magnets heavy enough to tow a big boat.
The generators are run by water pressure. There are minute tubes throughout the outer shell of this boat, parallel to the axis. The natural rush of water through these tubes is utilized by turbines in the bow and stern. They drive the generators.
The storage batteries alone would handle the generators for an hour. Is that not so, Commander?
Precisely.
But gee, don't you lose a lot of speed by having those tubes pick up all that water?
The loss is 15%, negligible compared to the amount of current generated.
Boy, oh boy, this is really a submarine.
You will see the magnets working very shortly.
Are we close to Johnson's boat?
It is difficult to get the exact range now. His motors have stopped.
Then he has run out of fuel. We may come up to him very soon, then.
Will you take this sub up onto the surface to tow him?
This is a submarine. It has never been on the surface, except as you saw it standing perpendicularly to act as a conning tower.
But how can you hook the magnets on his boat?
He has been instructed by G-47 to drop an anchor over his bow. We will pick up the anchor with our stern magnets and remain in at least 2 fathoms of water.
What will our speed be, Commander, towing that heavy boat?
There is no emergent need of speed. We will not attempt more than 15 knots.
Golly whiskers. I think that's pretty fast for a submarine to tow a 100-foot cruiser with a magnet on its anchor.
It will not be difficult.
There is a discoloration in the water, Commander.
Excellent, SE-1. We will observe it closely. Maintain speed and course.
Maintain speed and course. Due south. 25 knots.
Now we will check on this discoloration in the water.
Hey, wait a minute. You're not going to open a hole in the wall of this thing, are you?
Jerry, be quiet.
Certainly I am, but have no fear. You will not drown. If your powers of observation were worthy, you would see that I am opening a small slide in the inner shell. So. Then a mere slit in the outer shell. And there we have a small stream of water passing through that channel and continuing harmlessly out of the stern turbine exhaust.
Gee whiz.
Is it not wonderful, Jerry?
It sure is.
Yes. So SE-1 was right. There is a distinct discoloration in the water. Oil. Fuel oil for diesel motors. We are following exactly in the wake of Johnson's leaking fuel tanks. There. The volume of oil is increasing. Good. We are near the boat.
That's sure keen. You left me behind on one thing.
Did you not understand how the water passed through there without entering the compartment, Jerry?
Oh, sure, I understood that. But where did that oil come from?
Are you being deliberately stupid? You have heard me say it came from the fuel tanks on the boat we are following.
Oh, I don't mean that. I mean that the top of this sub is 2 fathoms below the surface of the water. Well, how did the oil get down 12 feet in the water? Where I come from, oil floats until it scatters. This is a steady stream.
The question surprises me with its intelligence. Had you been more observant, you would have noticed SE-1 has raised a slender feeler tube in the bow. This reaches the surface and turns a jet of surface water through the channel I just opened.
Do you have anything as wonderful as that in your world, Jerry?
If we do, I can't think of it right now.
Silence. I must speak to G-47.
Gee, Joan, I was...
Silence, I said. That means absolute silence. S1 reporting to G-47. S1 to G-47.
You may proceed.
Boat we are pursuing has stopped. Motors silent. Oil drift on surface here indicates we are nearing boat. Prepared to tow it to Euclidia. Special orders?
None. Proceed. That is all. G-47.
Gee, we're going to pick up Johnson's boat now.
Naturally.
You will find the method of attaching the magnetic stern fin to the anchor of the captive boat highly illuminative, Jerry.
You mean I'll get a kick out of it?
There will be no kicking here. The language of the stable is out of place in this well-ordered machine.
He is just trying to have some fun with me, Commander. Jerry acts as if he didn't understand big words.
It seems to be no effort for him to misunderstand anything.
Well, I guess you're right, Skipper. I'm sorry, Commander.
SE-1, prepare to tow Johnson boat.
Prepare to tow Johnson boat. Has boat been advised to have bow anchor up?
That has been done. You will maneuver position. I will personally attend to securing anchor with stern magnetic fin. Maintain speed and course until boat sighted.
Very good, Commander.
You two may witness this operation if you care to accompany me to the stern section.
Oh, golly whiskers. That's swell. Thanks.
Hull, what is the meaning of this?
What?
Have you no manners? If you are not cognizant of the accepted tactics in the presence of a superior, you might at least observe the common decencies.
Hey, well, what have I done now?
You started to precede the commander, Jerry. Oh, Jerry, I am so disappointed in you.
I'm sorry, Joan. Golly, I was so excited I forgot to... Well, I'm sorry, Commander.
It may be overlooked this time, as the damage is purely rhetorical. But let that be a lesson to you, Hall. There is a place for everyone in the Euclidean scheme of things. Your place is at all times secondary to that of the commander.
Right.
You may follow me to the stern.
Boy, can she be tough.
I told you, Jerry, you made a mistake about her.
I guess I did.
You will sit there, Hall. Remember that the magnetic paint on your hands and shoes is still active.
Okay, I won't get funny.
You there, Cleostra?
Thank you, Commander.
You will remain silent. You may see all that is of interest through the transparent shell.
Boat dead ahead. Light draft. We will clear it.
Excellent. Retard speed to stop stern fin directly below bow anchor of that boat.
Retarded. Losing speed. 20 knots. 15 knots. 10.
Full reverse tubes.
Full reverse tubes. 5 knots. Stationary, Commander.
Very well. Hold it so with stabilizers. I will project the stern magnetic fin. What is this, SE-1?
Yes, Commander.
You have contributed an atrocious piece of navigation. You have driven about 3 fathoms beyond the anchor from that boat.
Sorry, Commander. Reversing at once. There, 3 fathoms.
That is satisfactory.
Gee whiz. The poor guy misses an anchor chain 18 feet with the stern of the boat 80 feet from him, and he gets the dickens for it.
That was a serious error, Jerry.
Not in my country it wouldn't be.
Silence. Stabilize as you are, SE-1.
Stationary, Commander.
Very well. Observe closely, Hall. This lever. Move it to this position. So. The fin is extended. It just touches the anchor.
Boy, that's slick figuring. And the engineer moved mighty fast, too, when he gave you those other 18 feet on the reverse.
Things must move swiftly to have a value here, Jerry.
Precisely. Ready to absorb the contact shock?
Ready.
Very well. What is the weight of that boat, Hall?
Gee, I don't know.
I should have known you wouldn't know anything of value.
I have never heard the tonnage referred to.
Then I must estimate it. The generator's full, so. 3 circuits of magnets will handle the load easily. You may feel a slight shock as the magnets in the fin engage the anchor, so.
Gee whiz. Did you see that thing grab that anchor, Joan?
Yes, Jerry. I have seen it before.
Silence. Ready, SE-1.
Ready, Commander.
Full speed ahead to break inertia, then retract to 10 knots for cruising.
Right.
Very good, SE-1. Set your regulator for 10 knots. I will attend the current supply. Same course. Proceed.
Very good, Commander.
Boy, we're really pulling that big boat 10 knots an hour now?
I hardly think yet, Jerry.
It should take about 30 seconds to attain speed.
Can I use the radio now? We can talk to Johnson easy when we're this close together.
You are entirely too close to Johnson. I will take no chances with you, Hall. Remain exactly as you are.